festivities today, I want to tell a very quick story. Last week, Miss Ashley Young was in town. She's a point person for Macy's to be sure this groundbreaking ceremony was performed the way that we all wished it would be. Ashley and 3 or 4 of us were walking around. She said, "Bill, I'd like 2 things. I'd like one for it to be a sunny day." And I said, well, I'll ask my good friend, Mr. Reverend Good John Kushwal, who has better contacts than I do, to make that request. She also said, "Bill, I'm a city girl. I don't like creepy crawly things. I don't like snakes. I don't like spiders. I don't like bugs. What can you do about it?" Well, I looked around and I saw over 90 acres of tall grass. I saw, surrounded that, a couple of 100 acres of even taller grass and trees. Snakes, at least in West Virginia, snakes and creepy crawly things tend to be in tall grass. I said, "Sure, Ashley, we'll do what we can do." So we sent a memo to all creepy crawly things and said, please stay away from Ashley's party. So if you happen to see, and I think our memo probably worked because I've not heard Ashley scream yet today, but if we do, we'll know what it means. Okay? If I can borrow a phrase from good old St. Nick, Macy's is coming to town. Macy's is coming to town. And we're so thankful of Macy's coming to town. This is a great day for Berkeley County, the Eastern Panhandle, and the state of West Virginia. The new well-paying jobs will certainly make an impact on our local economy, not only here, but throughout the whole area. In case you haven't heard, there'll be over 3,000 individuals involved in building the building, 3,000 construction jobs. Following the construction, there'll be 1,200 full-time workers, good-paying jobs, and during the holiday seasons, there'll be ramped up by another 700 to 800. So 1,900, 2,000 jobs being brought to this area. These numbers are truly incredible. To provide you a small perspective of the size of the building that will be necessary to accommodate these jobs, if you look to your left to that line of trees, and then look over to your right to also the line of trees, that's the approximate width of the building. And from where I'm standing back to the line of trees on the other side of the Macy balloons would be the depth of the building, an incredibly large building. I've been told it will house approximately 360 regulation basketball courts. But as impressive as these numbers are and the impact it's going to have on a job, I see there is even a greater contribution from Macy's. Mr. Peter Longo, who you'll be hearing from later, mentioned to me earlier, and I heard it from others in Macy's as well, said their philosophy is, we are family. We are community. What does this mean? We are family. Means that they care for their employees. They respect their employees. They treat their employees as family. What do they mean by we are community? They want to be something more than just a business in a community. They want to be an integral, vital part of the community. I've heard that operational credo mentioned several times. I'm very excited about a future because that operational credo, which melds or merges very closely with our core West Virginia values of honesty, hard work, fairness, compassion for the needs of others, and personal responsibility. This is the making for a long-term partnership to be mutually beneficial for decades to come. Okay. Now for the speeches. It is. What have I been doing? I've been introducing. Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure seeing you today. Okay. Tina, you're going to be the first out of the barrel, so I'm going to take it out. First, it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Tina Combs, President and CEO of Berkeley County Chamber of Commerce. For those of you that know Tina, and most of us do know Tina quite well, you know she knows Berkeley County, has great passion for Berkeley County, and she works continuously to promote our business climate. When it comes to doing those things to improve our homeland, Tina can be very tenacious, but always very gracious. Tina.
What a great day for Berkeley County in West Virginia, and I am honored and thrilled to be with you this morning and to be a part of this celebration on behalf of the Martinsburg Berkeley County Chamber of Commerce and the business community. To echo what Mr. Stubblefield has said, the numbers are incredible, and I imagine we'll hear a lot of impressive numbers today. Jobs, acres, square feet, dollars of investment, and the list goes on and on. But this is more than just about numbers, and this is more than just breaking ground for a new building. This is about opportunities, and what an opportunity that we have here in Berkeley County. The decision that Macy's made to bring this facility here has opened up a world of opportunities for our entire community. And also, it's also about an opportunity for Macy's to be here and to continue their long history of success. We offer our sincerest thanks to Macy's, the Berkeley County Development Authority, the West Virginia Development Office, the Governor, the Berkeley County Council, and all the many others who were part of this team who worked extremely hard to create these opportunities. On behalf of the business community, we want to welcome Macy's to the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia, and we thank you for choosing this location for your newest and largest online fulfillment center. As Mr. Stubblefield mentioned earlier, your company culture fits into our community perfectly. Our business community has a long history of working together for the betterment of the community. We are here to assist you in any possible way, and we look forward to working with you as we embark on this new venture. So thank you again for putting the Macy's star on the map here in Berkeley County, West Virginia. We are thrilled that you are here, and we look forward to being a part of the magic of Macy's. Thank you.
What strikes me as amazing about this project is not only the magnitude of the number of people who will work, and then you extrapolate that into families that were kind of living on the edge, wondering what next month, next year was going to bring, who can now stop, who just have lives out there in front of them. And that is such an important thing, the psychology of what it does to individual families, the comfort it brings them, the money that it brings them, the opportunities that it brings them. And the other thing that I love about it, well, there are several things I love about it. How many basketball courts, Bill?
300. We could each have one ourselves.
Yeah. Is the fact of the way it was done. I think that this is, and I've been around the world, I think this is the best done economic project of substance and size that I've ever seen in West Virginia. In other words, the way it was handled, the way they didn't, there weren't a lot of leaks, the way that the group, Tina and all of her folks that were working on this, just did it ferociously, but did it quietly. Bill Stubblefield obviously was huge in it, but they did it quietly, and there wasn't a lot of press talks. There had to be rumors, but it was an utterly professional way of doing it. And I really respect that, because economic development is hard. There's an instinct sometimes you can get turf battles and this and that, or somebody gets mad or whatever. It didn't happen in this one, at least that I know of. Perfectly done. And I think it should go down in textbooks, if any are ever written about these subjects, of a way to bring business to West Virginia. Thirdly, it does make a tremendous amount of sense to be in this area. I think, the growth in the population in this county, the fact it's now the second largest county, probably will be the largest county before very long, it fits in perfectly with a lot of dissatisfaction in the Washington, and generally in suburban areas. Washington is now the most congested traffic area of any city in the country. And those of us who live there know that. Those of us who have to commute there know that really well, and that includes a lot of folks from the Eastern Panhandle. But things are just going to be happening here. They're going to be happening in the world of intelligence, the world of defense, the world of Macy's, and the world of all kinds of things that we don't even know yet. Because you're open to business, you like it, you're good at welcoming people. The final thing I want to say is, next to final thing I want to say is broadband is really important to Macy's. And one of the things we're working on very hard in the Commerce Committee and very successfully is getting up to G4, getting really fast broadband all over the country, and especially with an emphasis on rural parts of the country that don't have that. And so all of these things I think will work for Macy's advantage. That would be national policy, not something the state is also active in this. And then you just have to thank Peter and all the people from Macy's who actually made this decision. Somebody eventually has to say yes or no. Isn't that the way it works? And so the people who say yes are everlasting heroes, and to both governors. Right? Not me, but you two. I thank you, and Kelly and Keith, all of the cooperation that's gone on. No, I didn't have anything to do with this. Actually, I'm sort of upset about that. It's sort of my rule that nothing really big can happen. But I have to take life as it comes, and I love life, and I love this part of the country, and I love West Virginia. So this is a very great day. Now, Bill, was that a speech or were those remarks?
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. I just, for all of our sakes, I'm glad Bill's not one of the speakers. If his speeches were anything like his introductions, we'd be here for the rest of the day. But let me just say to all of you, I thank you so much, and I'm just so proud to be part of this and to be here. And to Peter, you are part of the family now. This West Virginia's family. And I know you feel Macy is family, and I think this is a good family union, if you will. It's a gathering, and it's an extension of both of our families, and I'm very proud of that. To my senior senator and my partner, Jay Rockefeller, he's been tremendous to work with. He's been helping me. His staff has been wonderful. They've helped us be acclimated. He's right about the traffic. I just wasn't used to that. I grew up in a town with no stoplights. You can imagine that. This is a culture shock. But I figured it out. Can you imagine? It's the most congested area in the United States of America, correct? They don't have one industry, one manufacturing job. It's all government. Does that tell you something? Makes you think, doesn't it? How did it get so big and so congested? But anyway, what we're doing is we're trying to slim it down a little bit and make it work a little better. Peter, every job in West Virginia is so important, and you're bringing so many opportunities here to West Virginia. The construction jobs we were just talking will be in the thousands. The permanent jobs will be in over 1,000. But the ancillary jobs that spring out and what it does for the community, Keith, I don't need to tell you from development, we've worked on it. And the partnership that we've all formed, and Governor Tomlin and myself have gone back 30 years as friends, but we work together as a team. And the success that our state has had to come through some of the most difficult times is working with our federal partners, Senator Rockefeller, then Senator Byrd, Shelley, and Nick, and Alan at that time, and now David. It's a partnership. You can't do it by yourself. And it can't be partisanship either. It's partnership. And we work on that very hard. The jobs are like this. My father always said, whatever problems you think you have, try it without a job, without a paycheck. You want to multiply your problems, they multiply overnight. And that's how important it is to us, because the families that this is going to support the families of West Virginia, and it's what we are all about. We're in some difficult times in America right now. We're facing some challenges. The Senate will tell you we had tough votes yesterday, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. What we're going to do is get our financial house in order. But it's all about setting priorities, and based around the values that we as Americans and as West Virginians, what we value. Family is at the top of our list every time. So how do you take care of your families? You start with your children, you end up with your parents and your grandparents. You make sure that they are able to have a start in life and live a quality of life. You take care of your veterans. You take care of those who are least capable of taking care of themselves. And the rest of the world will admire you for it. And that's what we try to do. And I think that we're going to strike a balance. And we're going to work with our friends, our colleagues across the aisle, our Republicans and Democrats working together and putting America first. The main thing that we can do here is to make sure that West Virginia is still a good place to do business. And we've done that. Peter will tell you, maybe he will, maybe he won't, but basically they could have been anywhere in the country. They could have chosen any place they wanted to, and they did due diligence, I know that. We started this process quite a few years ago with you, and that's been finished up, and it was starting with Kelly and our staff and Mark and everybody working together, and Keith coming in and wrapping it all up, and just everybody working as a team. But at the time that this started, the thing I would always say, I said, you know what, if you're looking for someone to give you the most incentive or money to try to attract you to the state, I don't want to compete. I can assure you, other people will outbid me. If you're looking for a place that you have stability, and we have a proven track record, you need to look at West Virginia, because there's nobody that basically has stabilized what we have done and been able to do it, working together. At that time, leading the Senate and the House and federal partners and all of us working together, but getting our house in order. It's a place you can depend on. Your taxes aren't going to increase. They're going to be very stable, and they're still going down. And it's a place where they'll pay their bills. They're very, very prudent with the dollar. They always told me that I was tight. Let me tell you, he's as tight as I am. This one here is as tight as I am. And I feel very good about that. And I think that Peter, it proved that Macy, being the class act that you are, the marquee company that you are, didn't get there by not thinking and doing your due diligence, and you did it well here. Now you've proven that you're one of the smartest executives I've ever met. With that, let me just say thank you to all of Berkeley County, John, everybody that we worked with. And Virginia, you know, we've been as many times. We've been working on things and trying to bring opportunities. This is the gateway to West Virginia. When you look at the western migration, we want more of it. We want more of it right here in the Eastern Panhandle. Larry, we think we can handle a lot more, and we're sure going to work on it. But we thank you all, and I appreciate it. Mayor, everything okay? He hasn't called me for a while. He's called me now. George was my wake-up call. What time is it? It's time for George. But let me just thank you all. I'm just so proud and so happy to be back home, and so happy to be out of the congested traffic. I got out before Senator got out. I took the back way out. But
my 4-year-old daughter Addie were here, she would play one of her favorite games, you know, you see in the puzzles and everything, pick out what doesn't belong. Governor, 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 feel good. She would be good at that. I think we've almost got as many governors and ex-governors here as we have gubernatorial candidates. I'm not sure. We didn't have them raise their hands. I do have a letter on behalf of the Congresswoman, and I would like to acknowledge Steve Christian. I heard him make the rounds of, we have 2 award-winning local radio stations. And Steve was making the rounds after the big announcement in December, and he said, not only is this important for these 1,200 jobs, but it's also so important for the future, because the way he was going to use it is to say, what does Macy's know that you need to know? And as we're here today, it's such a wonderful event, and it also speaks so well of what this county can do in the future. So I do have a letter from the Congresswoman, and it's addressed to Mr. Peter Longo, the President of Logistics and Operations. Dear Peter, it is a great pleasure to congratulate you on today's groundbreaking ceremony. Regretfully, I cannot be with you in person to celebrate a day that marks the physical beginning of the partnership between Macy's and our community. In the late 1960s, General Motors brought a parts warehouse to this very industrial park, a facility that employed over 1,000 people at its peak. 25 years later, Quad Graphics came to the neighborhood, and with it, another nearly 1,000 jobs. Now, 15 years later, Macy's is the once-a-generation game changer bringing over 1,000 planned jobs to Berkeley County. I applaud Macy's for the decision to bring its Internet Fulfillment Center to Cumbo Yards. It shows Macy's understands a smart company can grow even in challenging economic times. It shows you understand that West Virginia will provide a diligent workforce. It shows you understand the quality of life Berkeley County can provide to Macy's employees. And it shows Macy's is willing to work in concert with its county, state, and federal partners. Having worked closely with the Berkeley County Development Authority on several projects, most notably the Tabler Station Business Park, I know the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that are involved in bringing this Macy's Fulfillment Center to fruition. Again, please accept my congratulations on today's groundbreaking ceremony. I look forward to attending a ribbon cutting here next spring, and I wish you continued success in the future. Sincerely, Shelley Moore Capito, Member of Congress.
Peter, it's a pleasure.
Good morning. The best thing about speaking sixth on an agenda like this is all the right things and all the important things have been said. So I'll make my comments a little more brief. First and foremost, I don't know how much I can express the thanks and gratitude on behalf of Macy's. We're both proud and humbled to be able to join this community in the great state of West Virginia with our new fulfillment center. And the generosity and the true spirit of teamwork and partnership is the likes that we've never seen before on behalf of all the people that were involved. I can't help but want to tell a story or two if I can, and in the comfort of how some of the fun has been put out already. I'm a graduate of Villanova University. My son currently attends Villanova University. And we play with West Virginia in something called the Big East. So my son's a business student, and every once in a while he acts like I know something, so he seeks out things from me, and I tell him what I do every once in a while. And I said, well, you know, we've got this big thing going on. We're going to build a new fulfillment center, and it looks like the odds-on bet is it's going to go into West Virginia. And he looked at me as if, Dad, he says, you can't be serious. So I said, well, you know, son, this is part of the decision making in life. And I said, all I can tell you is that's where it's going. He said, but boy, they've been beating our butts for so long in the Big East. So I said, well, here's what we're going to do. Every time West Virginia plays Georgetown or Syracuse or Marquette or anybody like that, I'm going to root like hell for West Virginia. But I must admit, when Villanova plays West Virginia, I'm going to be a little conflicted. And one other quick story. Back in December, with all the colleagues that were doing so much of the preliminary work in planning the building here in West Virginia, I was invited down by Governor Tomlin to his residence to have lunch and meet him and some of the officials, and of course I was pleased to do that. So we left New York, we took the plane and landed at the airport, and as we were coming down under the clouds, when we left New York it wasn't snowing. When we got down under the clouds it was really snowing, and it became clear to me why they call this the Mountaineer State. And I said, how the heck, where are they going to land this plane? I see nothing but the tops of mountains. So we landed safely, and I was with 4 or 5 folks on the plane, and everybody got off the plane. I was the last one out, and somewhat indelicately, I took some flyer and I landed on a piece of ice. My legs went out from under me. I landed flat on my back, and I was sprawled on the ice. I don't know who it is, but somebody standing by said, wow, this isn't a great start for West Virginia, is it? So I dusted myself off and tried not to look too embarrassed, but I was the only one that fell. But anyway, I wouldn't say that is only funny in a way, because here's what happened shortly after it. We got down to the Capitol and went to the governor's residence, and we were getting ready to have lunch. And I think sometimes you could sum things up in a very brief and very simple way. I was greeted as warmly and with as much hospitality as any stranger could be welcomed. And you're right, Senator, Macy's could have put this in a lot of different places. But at one point during the day, Governor Tomlin shook my hand and he says, "Peter, I want you to know West Virginia is open for business." I think those were exactly your words. And you can say very important things in very simple ways and believe in the content and the context of what's being said. So we weren't able to exactly solidify it at that point, but I think we understood we had a real deal and the start of a great relationship that day, and I thank you so much for that. Maybe one or two words on Macy's. We're very proud of our organization, not just in terms of what might be called our business prowess, but really much more importantly in what Macy's is to our employees and to our communities. It really is family. And we talk a lot about merchandising, we talk a lot about the complexity of building buildings like this, but our organization is really nothing more than a collection of people with a great focus and a great energy to be special to each other and to be special in the communities that we do business in and all the lives that we touch. We call it the magic of Macy's. It's not just a slogan. We really believe there is something very magical about our corporation. We think we are America's department store. We're so proud of some of the iconic American events such as the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the 4th of July fireworks, and all of the events that we do in local communities to be part of the fabric of that community as an employer and as a contributor. Our business is strong. We'll be somewhere around a $25 billion business this year. We have 900 stores. We're in 47 states, Puerto Rico, Guam, and very, very proudly in the great state of West Virginia. By far and away, the reason for this building is because our online business, our direct-to-consumer business, is by far and away the fastest growing part of our company. The numbers are kind of staggering, 35 to 40% compounded growth year after year after year. We know the difficulties as referenced in terms of what's going on in our general economy, and to have a part of a company growing at 35 or 40% and what that means not just to Macy's, but in all we give back to our communities. We're very, very proud of the work we do and what it means for ourselves and for the places that we do our business. It was referenced in terms of how grand this building is going to be, 1.3 million square feet. I was given some of the same fun facts, 300 basketball courts, 40 football fields, all that kind of stuff. But what's far more important is that there will be about 1,200 jobs as a baseline when we're fully operational. Holiday will get up probably into the 2,000 range of jobs. This building, in the entire history of the Macy Corporation, is the largest single investment in our corporate history. It will be northwards of $150 million to put this building up and make it operational. We're glad to be able to make a capital investment of that scale and all that it brings. So we actually begin construction today, and I guess we're the first guys to start the construction. When you think of it, literally a year from today, we hope to see so many of you back for the ribbon cutting. This is what we call in our business a fast track project. So to build 1.3 million square feet, it'll be a state-of-the-art type of facility. Some of you folks were at our building in Portland, Tennessee. Some heads nodding. For those of you that were on the inside of it, you know what state-of-the-art means. It looks like the inside of a space shuttle in terms of the sophistication of the systems and the technology. And we're very proud of that. It will be built to speed, it will be built for accuracy, and it will be built to make our customers very happy. Finally, and I think it's the most important comment that I could say, and it will echo what's been said before, and I don't want to take more time than I need, but I think it's important to say. Macy's is a company very rich in tradition, built around values. And I won't list all of them, but certainly one of the biggest ones is we put our customers first. And if you do everything that's right for your customer to earn their trust and to earn their loyalty, it's remarkable how that will bleed into all the decisions you make as business people and the way you run your company. You can't be great to a consumer and build loyalty and trust if inside your organization you're somehow less than right. So we start with that and we work our way backwards from it. We have a company value that we call You Count. And that is all that we believe in what we should be as an employer. That our employees can earn our trust, and that we're fair, we operate with the utmost in integrity, openness of communication and transparency in all we do for our employees. And we have a great company legacy and value in what we call give back. And that is what we do in our communities. And whether it's through what we call the Macy Foundation, our commitment to the United Way, working with the American Heart Association on Go Red for Women, our Partners in Time program, our Bag Hunger program, our commitment to sustainability. It's not just about top-line revenue, it's about giving back as well. I promise we will, with diligence and focus, earn your trust. As a good corporate citizen, I couldn't be more proud and very frankly humbled to be able to be welcomed in the manner we are to this great community and to the great state of West Virginia. Thank you very much.
It is indeed my pleasure to be here, and Peter, I'm number 7. Not much left in the barrel today. I'll do the best I can. And Peter, I did want to say also that I'm surprised at the number of religious people that we have flying into Charleston, because when they drop through those clouds and they land, they go, thank goodness. No, I'm only joking. Charleston has a great airport, and the ridership is improving on a yearly basis. But, and we look forward to your next trip back. Make it the summer. Well, it is it's been said before today that it is a great day in Berkeley County and a great day in West Virginia, and I'm so pleased to be here to be part of it. Peter had mentioned our first visit with he and his staff from Macy's, and it was a good visit, and I know that the whole process had been in place for some time before I was at the governor's residence, and I want to commend Senator Manchin and his work with his staff and the great work that they did. I know that our local senators and delegates did play a major role in pulling this together. Senator Unger and kept me involved, Senator Snyder on a daily basis, Tiffany, John, and others over there. And thank you all so much, John Overton. It's all part of it. But thank you. It has been a real partnership in West Virginia to be able to attract Macy's. We're so proud of that. But let me just say a couple of things about the state of West Virginia. A few years back, we decided to change the way that we were doing business. And when we look around the country today, we see many states up in the 40s that are having huge budget problems. They're having to cut programs and raise taxes and do things that government officials really don't like to do. But in West Virginia, a few years ago, we decided to take a more positive approach, a responsible approach to the way that we run our government in West Virginia. We decided it was time that we quit spending more money than we were taking in. We decided it was time to quit raising taxes on people. If y'all realize it's been nearly 17 years since we've had a general tax increase in the state of West Virginia. And I think, Peter, that had to play a little bit of part. When Macy's looked all around this country, and nearly 160 sites around the country, they had to look at the condition. What's going to happen if we put a $150 million investment in this state or this state? And it came down to the state of New York and the state of West Virginia. And I think that's one of those things that they looked at the stable government that we had, the fiscally responsible way that we're handling the taxpayers' dollars, that was one of the things that really helped them make that decision to come to West Virginia. And I am so thankful that that has happened. And I pledged to Peter that day, and I'll pledge today that we plan to continue to be able to maintain a good, responsible government in the state of West Virginia. And it's showing. Yeah, it's showing all around. When you look around the state of West Virginia right now, besides Macy's, and today is Eastern Panhandle Day, but you look at Toyota, just announced a new $65 million expansion in West Virginia. Oric, up in the largest law firm in the world, up in the northern panhandle, just announced another big expansion with new jobs coming in up there. Alcan in Huntington announced another 300 jobs only a week or 10 days ago. and another $45 million investment. So people are noticing. And Peter, just let me say to you, because of Macy's visibility around the world, especially around this country, people are saying, my goodness, if Macy's looked at West Virginia, they thought they were good enough, maybe we should be looking at West Virginia. Maybe we should be trying to locate our business there, because there are great things going on in the state of West Virginia, and I'm so proud of it. And it's not only our new businesses that we have coming in, our local people are feeling that too. And we're starting to see the locals, the existing businesses, start to expand in West Virginia. And that tells me that the economy, at least in West Virginia, is on the mend. And I'm just so proud of the fact that we're able to sit here today and be able to have a groundbreaking for a great facility like this. And I think, Peter, I just can't thank you enough, because just your presence here means so much to our future economic development. It starts all with our local county officials, our local EDAs, our state EDAs, our state government, our federal government, all working together to make these things to come together. One entity or one person cannot do it. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you, governors and senators, for being here. To the, I always feel like a third husband when these guys are But the only thing I can say is, honey, I'm doing my best. Said, I can say that I am so proud to be a West Virginian today, and I hope that each and every one of you are too. And that here shortly, since everything has been said that could be said about this project today, unless maybe, Bill, you have something else you would like to add.